I'm 25 years old, and I've never done any traveling. I know it's commonly said, travel while you're young before you have a family and, when you have the chance. But that's just something that I didn't end up doing. And today I'm going to get into maybe why that happened and if I plan on traveling in the future. So, as a kid, the lack of traveling that I did, it kind of boiled down to my family just not really having the money for it. Only my dad worked, my mom stayed home and took care of me and my sister. And so a week long vacation just might have been a little too much for us. And I'll also say that my parents weren't really the traveling people themselves. I know that they went on a honeymoon to Disney when they got married back in 1983, I want to say. But yeah, since then, I don't know if they've really done much traveling. I don't know if they've been on airplanes since then. Certainly not since I was born in '99. So we would do day trips that would be, an hour or two away, maybe an amusement park, maybe a certain restaurant, maybe a baseball game, things like that. But yeah, in terms of a long vacation, it's not something we really did. My dad's work also involved him being on call quite a bit. He worked in our local town's borough, and in the winter, if there would be snow, he would get called in to plow the roads at any time of day. Maybe TMI, but he would work on blocked sewers and those kinds of things, and that can happen at any time. So he always kind of had to be ready to go in whenever he would be called. And of course, this wasn't mandatory or required, but it was a great way for him to be able to make extra money with overtime pay and those kinds of things, and that was really able to help our family out for sure. I've already mentioned the day trips, but on top of that, most of the traveling that we, quote unquote traveling that we would have done was for my baseball games in Little League. If we would make like an all-star tournament and we would have to play, a couple hours away, and sometimes it would be a weekend tournament that would be a few hours away, and we would stay in a hotel and those kinds of things, and that was so much fun. I mean, I remember me and my teammates just being in a hotel together and being able to play baseball on a weekend and just have a really good time. And I think, some of us would bring our PlayStations, and we would, play games like MLB The Show or Madden and things like that in the hotel rooms, and that was just such a good time. So now I'll skip into my adult years where it was kind of up to me whether I would travel or not. I don't know if it was from not doing it as a kid or what it was, but I never really had the desire, and I don't feel like I missed out much. Just for reference, I was never on an airplane. I've only been to 6 states here in the United States, and I've never been out of the country either. And I don't have this like deep yearning for traveling and seeing the world and things like that. I'll get more into that in a little bit. The longest traveling I actually did was with a really good friend of mine. We did a 6-hour road trip. 6 hours there and then 6 hours back, so I guess a 12-hour round trip. And we just, spent the weekend, 6 hours away from where we were, and that was just a really cool experience too. Being on the road for that long and those kinds of things. I think on the way there we did in a straight shot, which 6 hours probably doesn't sound like anything to some people, but for me, never doing any traveling, that was quite a bit, and I definitely had a good time, and I would definitely do it again. I will say that my friend was the one driving on this trip, and that might be part of the reason I enjoyed it more. I did a lot of back and forth when I was dating my wife. We lived about 2.5 hours apart, so I would be doing trips to see her quite often, and being the one driving was not as fun to me. Obviously, I had a great motivation to go, and it worked out really well because we're married. But yeah, those trips can get, especially when I was by myself too on the ride, those trips can get a little boring and repetitive. But I don't think that means that I don't like traveling. I think a big part of this is definitely finances. I quote unquote have the money to go traveling, but I just think it's really important now to invest it and put it towards the future and those kinds of things. And for some people, they might think that would mean I'm missing out and that kind of thing. But, the waters will still be super blue in Curacao when I'm older and have the money for that. The Appalachian Mountains will still be just as beautiful. And yeah, I guess you can say I have traveling and things like that on my bucket list. But, I guess it's a good thing that I don't feel like I'm missing out on it because I really haven't done any. And it could be expensive to travel. I know there's certain ways to get points with credit cards and those kinds of things. But we'll see if, that's in the works in the future. I also mention it a lot on this channel. I have a lawn care business. So from the months of April through October, maybe even into November, those would not be the ideal months for me to travel. Traveling for me would probably be more of a winter thing. I do snow removal as well. So, if it was to snow when I was gone, I'd have to figure that out. But yeah, traveling would probably be best for me and my wife in the winter. It would just make the most sense for what we have going on right now. Funny enough, my wife is younger than me, and she's already done more traveling than probably almost anyone in my immediate family. She has a couple friends abroad, so she's been in, Europe. She's been to Germany to visit a friend, and they went to places like the Czech Republic when they were there. She also spent time in Brazil with a friend that she made online, and she really loved the experiences, and she'd love to go back. But she's on the same page with me where we just want to get our finances up and really stack cash before we think about traveling and those kinds of things. And with how expensive America is, we don't even roll out, moving to another country in the future. I feel like I'm always looking up low cost of living and safe countries and things like that, and just, seeing what other options are out there. And then if I could find a way to, be making money online and to move there, that would be definitely something that we'd consider in the future. But yeah, for now it's no airplanes, no long road trips, just a lack of travel for now, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, guys, that's about it. Let me know in the comments if you've done any traveling, or if there's any traveling you want to do. Let me know where you've been, and if you have any recommendations to me for if I ever get into traveling and things. Where should I go, and where'd you have a good time traveling? Yeah, guys, I really appreciate you watching. If you made it this far and you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and stick around for the next one. I'll see you then.